Hello, this is Turquoise. I'm going to talk about something that I'm not sure is being talked about yet in the narcissist codependent survivors community on the peer level and on the professional level. I'm not sure if it's being discussed. I tried to search it on YouTube. Maybe I didn't search hard enough, but I couldn't find it. And it's about deliberate forgetfulness. When someone deliberately forgets about something, like for example, something simpler. Um, if you remind someone to help wash the dishes or get the groceries, and they say they're going to do it, and then they forget, especially if it happens a lot. If you've reminded them at least once, or you've told them you've wanted them to do it just once or twice, and you feel like you have to continually remind them, or you feel like you have to continually defend yourself, there could be a problem. And it's called deliberate, I call it deliberate forgetfulness, but I looked this up on AI, and there is information about it. Have you ever felt like someone forgot something important just because it was inconvenient for them? How do you distinguish between genuine forgetfulness and deliberate manipulation? I'm kind of reading off this, but please pay attention to the message that's being conveyed right now. Don't worry about what I'm reading and not reading. This is the information I asked for because I had trouble getting it from YouTube, and now this is going to be on YouTube. I want it to be discussed. What does it say about someone's priorities if they consistently fail to remember things that matter to us? Well, Olga kept losing my phone number. She kept telling me her phone was broken. If her phone was broken, it seemed to be broken conveniently for her. I kind of sensed a little bit of manipulation coming from her, or she was avoiding wanting to call me. She didn't want to call me. She didn't want to talk to me. It was too much for her. And if we had discussed that, she and I, instead of her just avoiding me, if I hadn't been afraid to approach her because of my own fear of being too invasive, maybe we could have worked through it. But she seemed to conveniently forget my phone number. She seemed to conveniently lose my phone number. And at the very end, she did promise that she was going to call me. She even wrote it down. She said, "I will call you," on paper. She never called me. So I know now that she was just trying to forget about me. She was putting me in the back of her mind and on the back burner. And the truth became very evident after she came out of the hospital and was very, very, very distant. So anyway, I want to invite discussion. I'm going to leave the comments open but modified. I will not accept comments that are abusive or off topic or belittling. YouTube can be a jungle. I want to encourage anyone who's dealing with that, commenting that's really rude and off point. The subjects they're bringing up, I asked if this was a form of emotional abuse because I didn't know if it was or not since it wasn't discussed yet. And AI, www.iask.ai. I will put this answer on the YouTube video so that you can read what they said, and draw your own conclusions. The behavior you described, says AI, could potentially be considered a form of emotional abuse, depending on the intent and patterns of behavior involved. Emotional abuse often involves actions that undermine your confidence, make you question your reality, or manipulate situations to control or diminish you. One is gaslighting and memory manipulation. If the individuals can deliberately forget or deny things you've clearly communicated, especially when it happens repeatedly, it could be a subtle form of gaslighting. This tactic can make you feel frustrated, unheard, and even question whether you were clear in the first place. Okay, now I also described my situation with the van, the transportation to the IOP, and the way they're treating me in general. They claim not to remember important details you've shared, your self-transport arrangement. See, I told them I was going to self-transport on days that I didn't get the ride, that they didn't show up. They shift blame onto you for their forgetfulness. They get angry at you. They did. They got angry with me for not trusting them. Their repeated forgetfulness forces you to over-explain yourself or defend your actions. Gaslighting erodes trust and creates an imbalance of power in relationships by making one person feel invalidated or dismissed. If this behavior happens consistently, where they fail to follow through on commitments like carpooling and then dismiss your attempts to address it, it may indicate a pattern of neglect or lack of respect for your needs. So repeatedly failing, forgetting important details, getting angry at me, that shifts responsibility away from their actions and onto your reaction, kind of like the ends justify the means attitude. And the role of intent, consistently forget only when it's inconvenient for them, using their forgetfulness as an excuse to avoid accountability, or becoming defensive and angry when confronted about their failures. Their behavior could be seen as manipulative rather than accidental. Emotional manipulation through anger, too. Lack of respect for boundaries or needs. I noticed that when when Zeke gave me a contract saying, we will provide transportation on your way home, Carol. We will let you self-transport over there. I noticed that he didn't sign it because initially my mentor was telling me to bring the note with me, and then he looked at it again and he said I showed it to him through Zoom. He said the note wasn't even signed, so they can still gaslight you, Carol, and say we never and it wasn't a handwritten note either. It was a typed note without a signature, and they didn't even invite me to sign it. They just put it in an envelope and said, take this home with you. And I read it. Carol will self-transport to the IOP, and we will drive her home. And there was no signature on it, so that's really suspicious. In fact, when Ani pointed that out, it made me not want to go today. But in good faith, and to show that I'm not the one that's should be persecuted, I'm gonna go. But I've been advised to exercise extreme caution. There probably are anti-gay people running that place. There are probably people running that place that are manipulative psychologically, and they will not hesitate to use the mental illness trump card or the paranoid trump card to not take accountability for their abusive behavior. And it is abuse. AI says, and search engines say it is a form of abuse. When someone acts like they forgot, what an abuser will do is, when a situation is inconvenient for them, or even some non-abusers, people that are honest, they'll use this to avoid dealing with the situation. Like, for example, if it was too much for Olga to call me or be my friend or work through a problem, she chose to not call me and then say, my phone's broken, or not call me and then say, I forgot your phone number, give it to me again. I don't know how many times I gave her my phone number. There's also reason to believe that she was faking ADHD. She was faking autism, because when I hear her talk to other people now, she does talk to people, and she speaks very clearly. She talks in a very strange voice, because I think she really does have spectrum issues. I think she's on the spectrum, but she seems to be using that as an excuse to mess with me, because when I see her and hear her talking to other people in the program, she's very clear with words. She speaks normally. She seems to remember things You know, she seems to connect with people. That's why it hurts so much when I see her now, because she didn't act that way around me. And also, when someone is really nervous or has spectrum issues and they're overwhelmed by something, they will regress into a symptomatic or labile condition. And I've studied this. I've done research on this. You can search it. You know, how does somebody autistic behave around overwhelm or someone they think is overwhelming them? And when she's around me, she talks like this, you know, like that, and then she forgets my phone number and says her phone is broken. She's clearly avoiding me. And I've gotten gaslighting from the staff there saying, oh, she's just having a bad day. Why does she have bad days when she's around me? When she's around other people, she's not having a bad day. She feels fine. So please beware. The point I'm making is it's under the radar. The stuff I've been dealing with has been under the radar from the staff and from her. And the people that are supporting me are saying, go ahead and go in, Turquoise, but exercise extreme caution. They might do something else. Careful. And I'm addressing this to anyone who feels like they're being messed around with or traumatized or abused in some way and it's not clear. You know, they can't detect it, they can't validate it, and when they go for help, it's not validated or they're afraid to go for help or any support. I'm Turquoise. I talk about mental health ethics and social health, and it is a very ethical thing to be able to be honest with people and be accountable for your problems. Thank you.